First off, what is your name and what do you teach?
My name is Isaac Nelson Gardner. I'm a science teacher here at Bear Creek. I teach honors biology to freshmen and sophomores and freshman earth science.
What has inspired you to become a teacher and why specifically to BCHS?
I became a teacher because I thought that I could be good at it. I decided when I was a freshman in high school that the way I saw teachers interacting with students, I felt like I could do a better job. I felt like students had to, if they wanted to be high achieving, they had to sacrifice who they were in order to meet the expectations of what the teachers were asking. And I felt like that was a false choice that the teachers were making sometimes. I came to Bear Creek because of a happy accident. I wanted to leave middle school. I'd been teaching middle school and loved it, and it was time for me to move on. And so I decided I wanted to teach high school, and I chose this. I chose Bear Creek because it is a diverse place, and it's a place that I felt like I could feel comfortable, being from a diverse background myself. And I felt like, and then once I got here, I realized that not only was it a diverse place, it was also a place where high achievement, especially in science, was the expectation. And I wanted to be a part of that, but also bring those high expectations to all the students in science.
So, obviously the upcoming year is getting coming. So, what are your hopes for that?
I hope to have my students, more of my students, see science, especially my students of color, and see themselves as scientists and to see themselves as going into science, even if it's just to take an AP class and see what that's like. And so while science may not be the most welcoming of the disciplines that it can be for them, and that they can go into it, and if they go into it, then they can change it.
So, obviously, what advice would you like to impart to the upcoming generations, which, for the record, includes your students?
My advice is to know that you can redefine your world, that the world as you see it and your place in the world as you see it, you don't have to live with it the way it is, and that you can change it. And so knowing that might be harder for some people in some situations, that not everybody comes to it with the same privilege as everybody else, but that you might have to work harder for it, but you can do it.
Could you please tell me about your family?
So married, with 2 kids, and we travel a lot, and we spend all summer together because my wife is a teacher also, and so right now my kids are tired of me, my own children. They're ready to go back to school. I grew up in Denver, and my mom is white, my dad is black, and there were all kinds of issues with race growing up, as far as trying to figure out my place in the world in that way. And so I think that being multiracial has given me a insight into different worlds and access to different places that I might not have had otherwise, and a view of the world that I can bring to new places that might not know what it's like to come from places like I come from.
Have any of your students come back to the high school to see you again? And if they have, could you give me an example?
So, funny thing, it wasn't actually they came back, although that has happened. So I was at home, and I got that ubiquitous phone call from my alma mater asking me for money.
Oh, okay.
And I was talking to the student, because there was a student calling me saying, would you like to donate, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, she sounds really familiar. And I was like, do I know you? And I was like, I used to teach Wheat Ridge Middle School, and she was like, yes, you were my science teacher. And so we had a little conversation over the phone about how she was a biology major now and thinking about what she was going to do in the future. So that was cool to see one of my students of color grow up and go, this is 5 or 6 years since I've had her as a student, go and do actually what I was doing that same time.